Washington, and certainly a lot of folks are very concerned about the developments and the extension and what that's going to mean to people's lives. I've been getting a lot of calls here in our office all week, especially this week, and I talked to many on the phone as well, called back to talk directly to individuals that are being impacted. And it's quite apparent that people are very concerned and very nervous about what the future holds. And so, given the fact we've got one senator standing in the way of this extension, I thought it was important to bring people together, but also to have put a human face on this when you've got members of the Senate who are standing in the way of a critical benefit for folks in times of need, that you're able to tell your story to the media, and hopefully that gets to Senator Bunning and others as to how important this is. So I appreciate you coming here today. We've got some folks from the press, and I think there's going to be another television crew coming a little bit later today too, and they may want to do some individual interviews with you on that. So I'll start with just kind of an overview of where we are on the extension. There have been a number of extensions, which is what you see in a time of economic crisis, which we continue to be in this country right now, particularly in Michigan. We feel that more than most with the challenges that we have and the unemployment rate, although it's starting to come down a little bit. It's still way too high, and even the official unemployment rate doesn't really measure the folks who have given up from looking at jobs, which aren't in that unemployment rate, or the unofficial rate, which is our people who can't find full-time employment and are working part-time, and they're still having a very difficult time making those ends meet. There are a number of things we're doing to hopefully get this economy turned around, which are starting to show some signs of that, but in the meantime, people need help, and unemployment insurance is critical to that, to pay those bills. We all know that unemployment insurance doesn't cover what you're used to making when you're working. It's really you're in survival mode when you're in unemployment insurance, but it's critical to keep families together. People who are in this state, we all know, are folks who want to work, are looking for work, they just can't find work. And in the meantime, you've got to have that somewhat of a bridge to help you. And if you look at it not just from the point of view of helping families, which is critical, is you look at unemployment insurance as well as a stimulus in the economy. If you're looking at Recovery Act and stimulus, it's actually considered, from an economist standpoint, one of the best ways to stimulate an economy, because people who are unemployment, as all of you will attest, they spend every penny of it. You just need that to keep going. And that's money in the economy that then generates economic activity. And if you didn't have that, the economy would continue to spiral downward. So it's important to keep that going. So we passed in the House emergency extension to continue these benefits, not only unemployment insurance, but also the COBRA subsidies, so the folks don't lose health care coverage, which is critical. There are a number of other components to the bill, but those are the two that impact most of the people here in Michigan most directly. We passed it on unanimous consent, which meant everybody agreed that we've got to pass this extension. It was supposed to happen the same way in the Senate, although one senator, Senator Bunning from Kentucky, has said that he doesn't like the program because of how it's going to get paid for. And he's standing in the way, but the problem is that these programs all expire on Sunday night, the 28th. We're hoping that the Senate will act very quickly, and that's why it's important for people's stories to be out there, to put even more pressure on the Senate, to have them act very quickly to make this extension go further, or to enact this extension. If they act by Tuesday when they come back, there will likely be, hopefully, little or no disruption in what people will be getting. If it goes beyond Tuesday, it could very well be a disruption, because states legally would have to take people off unemployment and then put it back on, and that's an administrative nightmare, as you can imagine, trying to do that, going back and forth. My understanding of Senate rules is they can still do it by Tuesday, but Senator Bunning's going to have to agree to do that by Tuesday. If he doesn't, then they've got to go through their procedures to have an official vote, which just takes, it's longer in the Senate than in the House. We can do that fairly quickly, but in the Senate they take a little longer, and they have different procedural hurdles that they've got to jump over. So it might be a Thursday or Friday before they can vote. Yes?
My name's Lois Clark. I'm from Lake Orion. I'd like to know why one senator is able to put the quietus to this. What is his power that he can do that?
Right. It's because in the Senate, well, they have it's a calendar called unanimous consent, where just everybody agrees that this should go forward. There really isn't. It can be done by a voice vote. For example, that's how we did in the House too.
Okay,
that,
yeah.
you know, everybody agrees, unanimous consent, and you can move things a lot quicker that way, because we have a lot of things that we're dealing with, and when you have votes on issues and debate, you know, it's very time consuming. But something like this, where we would hope it would be wide agreement that this is an emergency issue for us, just like we, in the past, when we've had deep recessions in this country, extensions of unemployment has been considered an emergency expenditure of the federal government to make sure that people have that safety net for them. That it should have happened, however, if unanimous means everybody agrees, so if you've got one person who says, no, I don't want to do it, then that doesn't allow it to go forward. My question and my frustration with the Senate, and I share your frustration and about it, and really outraged, is the fact that had the Senate known that he was doing this, and I think he's been telling people that he's opposed to it, they should have put the procedures in place to have a vote, because it had to be done by the end of this month. So there's a failure on a lot of levels, which just makes me very angry now. I've got a lot of concerns about the Senate as a whole, that we haven't seen a lot of action over there. The action in the House, we've passed bills, we've been moving legislation forward, we've been working on solving problems for the American people, or we're trying to work to deal with some of the long list of problems that we're confronting right now as a country and the challenges that we have, particularly here in Michigan. And yet there's inaction over there. And this is a clear example of how the inaction just impacts so many people's lives. And even if, and I'm confident also, I know all of you are very concerned about this, I'm fairly confident the Senate will act. But the problem is that they're creating a problem and a delay for people, and folks who are on unemployment, and you can speak to that, I'm sure, who are on unemployment. A delay of a week or two is a big deal. It's a huge deal. It's beyond a big deal. It's a huge deal. You know, when you're trying to make your payments, you're trying to hold on to your house, you're trying to make your rent payments, you're trying to buy groceries. I mean, it's a huge deal for people. It's not like you have much of a cushion to deal with that. So people have to know, and folks like Senator Bunning and others have to understand that this has got a huge human element to it, and it could be potentially catastrophic for people. It's not about playing any partisan or political games. This is about real people, real problems, and real concerns. And that's why I appreciate you coming out, all of you today, to talk about this and to let our folks in the media and the wider audience understand how important this is, and how unemployment is an issue that hits everybody. Every family has people who are facing these uncertain employment prospects in this state. Every neighborhood. I mean, it doesn't matter where you live or who you are or what age you are. This is a huge problem. I'm sorry, ma'am.
I'm Pat Marin from Rochester Hills. I had two things to say. Would it help if we had an email campaign for Senator Bunning? I know a lot of people in Kentucky.
Yes, actually it would, and we've put his phone number out in our press release. We can get that for you. But people should call his office on Monday, and because if he relents, they can get this done Tuesday, and hopefully that would mean you wouldn't see the kind of disruption. So I think people should definitely call his office and let him know how this is going to happen.
And secondarily, on your point regarding the urgency of this, I have a daughter who's on underemployment, and she got a note from her mortgage company after 1 month missing a payment that her house was going to be foreclosed.
After just 1 month?
1 month.
Well, we would help. We would like to help you on that too. So if you want to give us the details, talk to Alex after the meeting here from office, because we get a lot of calls in from folks who are trying to hold on to their houses too. And I can't promise you the results, but we can be helpful to you, and perhaps calling the bank and other things. So
if I lose my unemployment, she'll lose her house because I help her with hers as much as I can. So, so we're scraping by, but if we lose the unemployment, we won't scrape by.
Absolutely. And let us see if we can be helpful. Well, maybe that's, I mean, for the folks in the media here, as to stories like that, which are so important, why these checks are so important for you. It's not just for you, but your daughter as well. I mean, there's always a wider web for folks with this. Is there anybody else want to share anything about this?
Yes, again, Lois Clark from Lake Orion.